Welcome to Cadeau and Janko Wednesdays at Lunch, Burger Edition. This week, Matthew and I went to the Old Port. We went to Boeuf on St. Paul West, right near the Notre Dame Basilica. Matthew, I feel like you've been quite reticent to even visit to the Old Port for this show. This is the first time we head out to that area of town. Matthew, what do you think of the Old Port and what's so funny?
So sorry. This is the second take and I can't stop laughing and I don't know what it is. At first I thought it was the kid making noises in the apartment next door, but it's got to be something deeper at this point. I gotta compose myself.
You're having a giggle fit.
Oh yeah.
You got tears in your eyes.
It's really bad. Like it's not. I don't even find anything particularly funny. It's just that whole thing where you laugh at the most inappropriate times.
Yeah, it's just sometimes something so silly, so stupid.
Yeah.
Get you laughing, and then you just can't stop. Matthew?
Yeah.
While we were eating, you were telling me how recently you woke up laughing and how this disturbed your girlfriend. Could you please tell me this story?
I can tell you the story.
What were you dreaming about that was so funny that you would wake up laughing?
It wasn't anything funny at all in any way. It was me walking out, and it was a miniature town. Okay. So
are you a giant man, or is it a miniature town?
No, it's kind of like everyone was human sized, but the town was just one story, little bungalows, little tiny, little cottages, really.
Okay, a little white picket fence type of deal.
Yes. Now the white picket fences that were in the yards, it was backyard, front yard, white picket fences. They were only about 2 feet high.
Okay.
And there were fruits, vegetables growing, but they were all miniature versions of it. I guess the fruits and vegetables, they were the right sizes.
Okay.
Now that's not, it was just, they were very small quantities of it. You know, like small little quantities of strawberries and blueberries.
So are you saying like it's a tiny shrub with a bunch of little strawberries on it? Just a cute little shrub with normal sized strawberries?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically. It was just, people were growing stuff, but not more than their fair share of, what they would eat.
Okay. So I'm growing some berries, but I'm growing like 2 handfuls of berries because I need 1 million berries?
Yeah. And then this is, exactly. And they weren't selling them off to grocery stores. It was just for them.
Okay. So what's so funny about this?
There was nothing. And then the only other thing in this dream was that there were also 2 giant slugs.
Okay.
That were crawling up the side of a wall.
How giant? As big as you were?
No, maybe about the size of a small cat.
Okay.
About that size. 2 of them just very slowly moving, and I saw that in my dream and burst out laughing uncontrollably. Like I had tears in my eyes, my face got all red, and I woke up in hysterics.
Now, okay, so just that seems odd unless like the slug is such a surprise. You're like such an idyllic little town, and then there's like 2 giant slugs just slowly moving around. I guess that is kind of funny.
It's such
but not a laugh out loud funny, more of a like, that's funny.
It's such a nothing story, and it's not. It's the only thing about it was that I was laughing uncontrollably in the middle of the night, and when I tried to explain why, I knew I was going to come off crazy because in short little breaths as I was laughing, I would just say, small town, strawberries, the slugs were so big. And then I just kept laughing and I couldn't even get, and nobody wants to hear laughter at 3 a.m.
That is a weird way to wake up to a man laughing about a small town and big slugs.
And the worst was when you try to be silent. I'm still laughing on the inside, but every now and then just a little gasp of air escapes. It's just been laughter the whole time. I see
your girlfriend's trying to get back to sleep, going like, "Oh my god, what is this?" And you're still like,
but I was kind of crying in my head because I knew I'm doing irreparable damage to just the way I'm being viewed. Because there's no way that I can get out of this without seeming like a lunatic, like something is slipping.
Now, Matthew, you mentioned something else that how your girlfriend wakes up sometimes, not just from you laughing.
No, yeah, just crying.
So why is she waking up crying?
Well,
Is she deeply depressed, or is she having just like sad dreams?
I don't know. I hear and she wakes up crying more often than I wake up laughing.
Now, are we like? Is she waking up sobbing?
Wet cheeks and even when you're awake, still tears are new tears are forming and passing down the cheek.
So what's she crying about, though?
I don't know.
See, Matthew, you're talking about how you woke up laughing. I asked you a half a dozen questions. Are you like, here she goes again, waking up crying? Ugh, you roll over?
I'm tired.
Well, if she was tired when she woke up, when you woke her up laughing, she'd still ask follow-up questions.
Yeah, but more in annoyance, because once I explained and then I kept laughing, she just said, "You're annoying me."
Okay.
And then that's when I knew I should really stop laughing at nothing. But I've heard other people wake up crying and people wake up angry at other people for things they did in their dreams.
I've heard about this where, like, a girlfriend will wake up and punch a boyfriend because he did something selfish in her dream, and be like, well, I didn't do that. That's your dream.
Yeah.
But you're no follow-up questions. This has happened several times. Your girlfriend wakes up crying and you're like, it's the thing she does.
Well, I don't want to find out something that I don't want to know. Maybe it's something more deep-rooted. Maybe it's some information. Maybe I'm doing something wrong.
But at that point, wouldn't you want to know to maybe correct that behavior?
It'll all come out eventually. It's not something I want to talk about at 3 a.m.
It'll come out when we get divorced eventually. That's Now, on the topic of waking up crying, I have done this one time, but it wasn't a sobbing cry. It was actually maybe the most pleasant wake up I've had in years. I woke up so calm and peaceful and relaxed. Now I'll explain why I was crying to begin with.
Okay.
It was a dream. I'm very bad at remembering my dreams. I was telling you just earlier, I had a dream last night where I don't know what was happening. I don't remember. I know there were a lot of people. I was frustrated about something. That's about all I remember about the dream. Huh. But this dream, I guess because I woke up so relaxed, it was very notable, and I made sure to remember it. I had a dream where I felt like the sun was about to like envelop the earth or something. Like it was big and burning bright and too close or something. And I guess because the sun was so close, like all the shadows were cast really big and stuff. Like everything looked very dramatic. And I was being saved by Superman.
Wow.
He was holding me like his Lois Lane or something, and he made like an admission to me, but with tears in his eyes. He looked at me with his eyes welling up with tears, not quite dripping down, and he confided in me that he just couldn't save everyone, and that made me cry. And I woke up in this like sort of sad state, but very relaxed. I guess because I had just been saved by Superman. It's a very he's an easing figure, and I woke up with tears in my eyes. And the relaxing thing about it, I think, is that usually you wake up and everything's too bright and you got to rub your eyes and stuff and get your eyes ready for the world.
Yes.
The tears had already moistened my eyes and prepared them for the day. It was so comfortable on my eyes that I wish I could wake up crying every day.
Just pre-moistened
eyes,
eyeballs.
Yeah,
that does sound real.
If only Superman could cry in my dreams every night.
Oh man, I think eventually it'd get tiresome. It's like, stop.
Be
crying.
Like, all right, Soups. I get it. Stop sobbing about it.
The world's a sad place.
Do what you can, and we're gonna forgive you for the rest. I know you can't save everyone.
Yeah.
You can move at the speed of sound or whatever, but easy now, all right? Enough of the sob story. I understand you're an orphan. You're the only one left of your planet. Oh, we get it. We get it.
You're not Superboy. You're Superman.
Be a Superman for once in your life.
Yes. Now, he wasn't saying that he can't save everybody. Did you just wake up too early? Because maybe the rest of that dream was
him
can't save
overcoming.
everybody, and then he drops you because he's like,
Oh my
I don't have time
goodness.
for you.
No, it didn't feel that way. It felt like like I mentioned, the sun was engulfing the earth or something. That maybe he was zipping around, saving as many people as he could, and he realized it was impossible. He couldn't save everyone.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's depressing for Superman to realize that he can be as super as he wants, but he can't actually do it all.
Yeah.
And maybe if there's someone out there who does dream analysis, maybe they can tell me what these dreams mean, what Matthew's giant slugs and Superman's tears actually mean deep down inside. It'd be interesting to know.
It would.
So if any of you do analyze dreams in as a hobby or in some sort of professional capacity, you can contact us on Twitter at Burger Edition, Facebook.com/Burger Edition. You can even follow us on Instagram at Burger Edition.
Yes. Sebastian, I apologize for starting the show off so unprofessionally. Where did we eat?
We ate at Boeuf in the Old Port.
Okay.
Oh yes, and I was asking you about the Old Port, how
Yes.
often you go, because it seemed like you didn't want to go to the Old Port. Tell me about the Old Port, Matthew.
The Old Port, Sebastian. It's old. It's
A port.
yes, near the water. A lot of stonework, a lot of tall buildings. It looks like a very expensive place. And the one draw of that place is I know there's somewhere in there's a all year Christmas store.
Oh yes, the Christmas store.
Oh, and that's very appealing. But I do tend to stay away from that area.
Why is that, Matthew? Is it because it's a tourist trap, and any shop you will go into will have overly priced T-shirts that say Montreal but have an Indian and a wolf howling at the moon?
That actually sounds delightful. I've been after a good wildlife T-shirt for a while, but I feel like I should buy it somewhere other than Montreal.
Wow.
But that, yes, the tourist trap of it, the price of everything.
I mean, we passed by a store. You didn't notice this. That had little wooden carvings of monkeys.
Yeah.
And I noticed there was a wooden carving of a phallus. And then I looked a little more carefully at the wooden carvings of monkeys, and they all had huge boners that they were holding. I found that very strange to fill a shop window with wooden monkeys with boners.
Yeah. There's no discretion used down in old Montreal. I feel like it's not
It's
as
just so
classy.
that, Americans will come up and be like, look at those boners. They're so European here.
I guess so, eh? But really, the people who live here, they don't look in shop windows. They don't want to see that filth.
I guess we know better.
I was looking at the floor. I'm looking at the ground like I always do. My own feet.
Now, Matthew, is that why you don't like old Montreal? Because of the old buildings and Christmas store?
No, it's mixed. It's far away from where I live.
It's not that far.
It's
How long did it take us to get there? Like
Not
20?
long, not
20
long.
minutes?
yeah.
20 minutes on the metro?
The cobblestoned ground is uneven and difficult to walk on in flat shoes.
Okay, I'll give you that. I imagine they're worse on in high heels or something, but that's never a problem of yours.
No.
Speaking of those cobblestone streets, we almost saw someone get hit by a car today.
Yeah.
And God, maybe we're awful people, but we both wish he was hit by the car.
You should get what you deserve.
This guy, it was raining, he had his hood on, and he just bolted out into the street, and the car had to come to a very abrupt stop, and it came within inches of hitting the guy. He's got a hood on, didn't even look left and right, and just bolted out into the street because it was raining or something.
Yeah.
Acts like a damn madman just because of a little water falling from the sky.
Yeah.
And like he didn't stop and like go, "Oh, I'm sorry" to the driver, and the driver was just like, "Jesus, whoa!"
He didn't even honk the horn.
He didn't honk the horn. He was just startled, like, "My God, what's wrong with you?"
Yeah.
And then we crossed the street after the car passed because we're reasonable people, and we were saying to each other how we really wish that guy got hit by the car because he freaking deserved it.
Yeah. He's not going to learn his lesson now.
No. Since you're a child, you're told look both ways before crossing the street. Don't cover your head with a hood and dash out into the street when it's raining.
Yeah.
This guy's lucky that the driver's tires were so good. Could have slipped and not stopped as quickly as he did,
Yeah.
and just ran